This is the MIAA Weekly.
Welcome to week 9 of MIAA Weekly. John, we already started off over in the corner there. Do you see that? It was like we were in the penalty box to start the call. What was going on there?
You need that screen. Well, somebody, I'm not producing this thing. But,
I know we're going to have to talk about getting a new producer to this. I'm telling you. But well, buddy, we're another week here, moving right along, and we've got a special guest tonight.
That we do. A record-setting guest.
That's exactly not to give too much of this away, but
I didn't spoil what record.
Well, we're gonna watch a little bit of video here momentarily, but before we do, we might have a head coach on. We did advertise it a little bit, and who had a really big win. And John, they were down a few scores in this contest, came on back and won the whole deal. A little bit of a dramatic time to get a win too, huh?
Nice little comeback victory to get a milestone. Who would want like a 60-0 win for your milestone? Just make it exciting. So
heck no. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll unpack a little bit of the video package that was put together by Emporia State on their side here. I think they did a nice job with this. And I'm going to kind of go ahead and talk this one a little bit through. And we had Jamison Sarver, true freshman, Olathe, was Olathe North, who was starting this game. Nice pass right down the seam there to Andre Beasley, another young man. And we've got, right away, they were down early. I think it was 10-0, John, against UCM in this contest. One that we were concerned with, would they be able to kind of keep up with that offense from UCM? And especially here, when you're taking a look at a freshman quarterback and, Kingsley Bennett scores right here. They're kind of working their way back in this ball game, still chasing the score a little bit. I think a defense that sometimes has been a little bit undersold, and I got a chance to watch them earlier when they played Minot State this year, and they impressed me. And they're chasing 10 right here. You see number 22 Max Middleton with the score and working their way back, and Diego Kearns there, and they are ahead in the ball game and go ahead come back. And, coach is going to get his 117th win and become the winningest head coach at Emporia State in the program history. And just pretty awesome accomplishment here for a guy that's been on our show before. Super nice guy. And you know what? This was, when I saw this, I was feeling great for coach. And, John, it's not every week that we get a chance to bring on a head coach who's breaking records like this. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and see if we can bring on Coach Garin Higgins right now on with us. Coach, thanks for making some time for us.
You bet. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
So, you know what, Coach? We saw on the social media that you were over at, Grill, what is it? 627 Bar and Grill. Yeah, we all the audience has got to be wondering, Coach, what'd you have for dinner? Come on.
I just had cheeseburger and fries. That's my regular.
You were just trying to make it easy. We talk about food all the time on our programming, Coach. So you had us all kind of sitting on the edge of our seat there.
Right. Sorry for the letdown. All right. Just the old cheeseburger and fries and, onions and pickles and mustard. That's it.
Well, I might find myself down in Emporia this weekend, so I might have to check it out myself.
There you go. It's a great place to eat at. I would recommend it.
Well, you know what? My partner here, John Dykstra, who is kind of our MIAA expert, I just kind of facilitate this a little bit. He's got some things that he wants to ask you, but I'm going to let him start off, Coach.
Okay. I mean, the elephant in the room is the obvious one. When you break a record that from the guy that the stadium is named after, that's pretty impressive. So talk to us about that. I know you matched it a couple weeks ago, and being able to get that mark. I know you were even asked about it at Media Day, so it's been it's been kind of something that other people at least have had their eyes on for you. But talk to us about getting to set that mark.
Yeah, it's been well, I mean, it's been something that's been there, of course, and for myself personally, I look at the record, and records are made to be broken. I think about all the wins, and I'd never personally scored a touchdown, didn't throw a touchdown pass in any of those wins. I've had a lot of outstanding players uh, that helped get those wins, and a coaching staff through the years, and a lot of those guys aren't with me anymore. But I've always said football is the ultimate team sport, and you just need so many hands on deck to get wins. And I've been very fortunate to have a great group of players that fit in at our place. We call them OKGs. And then, have a great group of coaches. And a lot of my coaches, not all of them, a lot of them played here for me. And and again, I'm a product of Emporia State, where I went to school at. So yeah, it was it's nice, and but again, I have to owe those wins to a great group of coaches, great group of players that I've had throughout the years, and I've been here, which I'm very blessed to be at a place for as long as I have been. I mean, this is a tough job,
Right.
It's never been easy here. We're blue collar here.
Yep.
And have done a lot of amazing things and great accomplishments here within our football program by a lot of outstanding coaches and a lot of outstanding players.
And Coach, you couldn't have said it better. Longevity in your profession isn't always a guarantee, and that really shows how much you've persevered. And let me ask you a question about your club. We had you on a year ago, and you guys were kind of a high flying group. And just ton of points being scored. Some of the games you were having to win firefights. How is your identity of your ball club? You think different from a year ago than this group? Because it seems notably different.
Well, when I think of it, I don't know from a standpoint of what we do offensively. We are who we are.
Sure.
And, we're going to play with pace, and, we want to effectively run the football. I know a lot of people think we throw it all around the place, which we do. I think that's where I got to start at, though. I think we're different, is that we're able to run the ball more efficiently this year. I think that every year is different. Every team is different. The way I look at this group is we brought 55 new faces when we started camp. 55 new faces have never played a game here. All right. So, and we had a lot of we graduated 27 seniors last year. So that's a lot of production to replace. And then after the first game, we lose our leading receiver, Trenton Collins, who was an all-conference receiver last year, right behind Tyler Common. And
Right.
He was a 75 catch or whatever player for us. We lose him right after the first quarter. So we had a young group of receivers that had to step up. We had about 3 new faces on the offensive line, 2 sophomore running backs. I mean, this is, it is a different team. It's there's been times where it's been a roller coaster ride, but the one thing that I'll tell you about this group is very resilient group, very competitive group. Now, sometimes we make mistakes, can't get out of our own way, and sometimes that's part of it. When you have I want to say a young team. I don't necessarily want to say inexperienced anymore, because we're at the 9th game of the year or whatever, which is crazy. Sure. But still, just a lot of youthful guys. That film right there, you had 2 true freshmen making a play. Diego Kearns is a sophomore. Cameron Crooks is a sophomore. Malik Oaid is sophomore. That to me is how we're different.
Yeah, let's talk about this week a little bit. UCM going to UCM. They jump out to a 10-0 lead pretty much right out of the gate there, and you're battling back from that all the way up until the fourth quarter. Just take us through kind of the fight in your team to battle back and get those late scores to pull out a victory.
Yeah, I wish I'd tell you that I knew they were going to come out and play that way. I mean, but it's when you're dealing with 18 to 23-year-old players, you just don't know. Especially the week before, we just took a bad loss. We just didn't play well, and we turned the ball over like 5 times, and we knew that Central Missouri had turned the ball over the previous week too against Washburn, and they had lost a tough one. And we knew all week that I'm sure their coaches were on their guys about rebounding. And here we come to town, and it's on their homecoming. And, one thing about this group, they just don't flinch, our guys. And we felt like if we could get it to the fourth quarter, that it just to give us an opportunity to win the game, that we felt confident that we would have an opportunity to win that game. And, I knew that we had a good freshman quarterback. I really did. Now, that's from practice, okay? So I was pretty good whenever there wasn't a defense out there throwing the ball around, but you just don't know how he's going to perform. And he is like ice in his veins. You'd have thought he was a returning starter. That's the first time he ever stepped foot in a college game. So, he was playing, Olathe West or whoever last year, and he's lined up against Central Missouri on their homecoming. So, just our kids, just how they are, how they're built. I noticed that within this group. Like we're 1-3, okay, and right. When you're 1-3, we hadn't been in that spot in a long time, guys. Sometimes you worry. It's so hard to make the playoffs. You guys know this in our league. It's almost ridiculous how hard it is. That sometimes you worry about how guys are going to be when you're sitting at 1-3, and our guys never wavered. I think that's a little bit of our youthfulness, where our guys are hungry, and I think that showed when we've been able to come back from our losses.
Coach, your quarterback position, you had Ben Harris, who's been kind of under center most of the way. And then as, you guys get into that game with UCO, you end up, having another guy play there as well. Tell us a little bit about kind of how that position's had a little bit of changes here midstream.
Yeah, well, Ben, unfortunately, we lost Ben for the season.
Right.
We lost him in the second quarter to an injury there at UCO. So we put in Mason Dennis, who had been here. I think he's on his third year, and he did a good job. He really did. I think we just felt after the game, moving forward, after we got the prognosis on Ben, and Ben was having, besides the Angelo State game, he's had a great year. I mean, the numbers that he's putting up, and was getting better every week. So that was a tough one. But we just felt moving forward that Jamison Sarver, in practice and even camp, he's really done some things, that you kind of notice, and watching quarterbacks through the years, we kind of thought, man, he could be something special. And lo and behold, we gave him his opportunity, and he took it and ran with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a rule that doesn't always get talked about, but the 4-game rule at the end of the season, just how nice is that to have now that we have that? And obviously he played his fourth to final game. So now,
well, I think it's 3 games for us.
Is it 3? Did I miss?
Right.
Yeah. So we're just like, hey, look, we got to go win football games. We talked to him, and we were going to make sure that we were up front with Jamison, and he's 100% behind it too as well. And so we just decided to go with it, and in this day and age, I think, plus they've had the 5-year rule on the table, and who knows, that may end up passing. So at some point, and I don't know whether this group will get grandfathered in or not, but maybe. And I'm just like, just what gives you the best opportunity to win football games? And we felt like he does moving forward.
Well, Coach, let me ask you. We have on our show, we also have a live comments area, and we had a question from actually one of the Northwest supporters, Reed Jorgensen, who's followed the league very closely for
Oh man.
years. And I thought he had a great question here, Coach. And I'm gonna unpack it while you have a chance to kind of let your mind move through it. But
You better answer carefully with a lot of those guys still on staff there. You don't want.
Hey, that is so
right,
true. Hey,
yeah.
you are
So
right about that.
so Reed asks, who's a player in your career who didn't get the accolades publicly but stands out in your memory? I thought very fast. You don't think of things like that all that often. Who are some of the guys that come to mind?
Man, that's I think I don't know. Landon Nault was a really good running back for me. It was an all conference. He statistically put up good numbers. Didn't put up great numbers, but I thought he was an every down back type in this conference. One of the things, and again, and you probably say I'm biased just when it comes to quarterbacks here, but unfortunately, Braden Gleason, he just so happened another quarterback at Central Missouri showed up in the same league as Braden, but I thought Braden deserved to be an All-American. Whether and when they do it by region, I don't agree with that, and it just goes it's like the playoffs, right, guys? So he's one that I thought should have got more. I'm not saying hey Zabrowski deserved to win the Harlan Hill. There's no question about that. But I just felt like Braden deserved, and I think they did right by him. I think was he co-player of the year in one of those. I thought he was maybe, but and then maybe just trying to think, defensively. I bet there's probably I better name somebody defensively.
Jace will be in here yelling at you.
He will. Dawson Hamas was a great player for us. Yeah. I don't know about all the accolades, but man, he played the game the way that it needed to be played over there on defense. He knew one speed and one speed only.
For sure. And Coach, you started with Landon there, and I think your running backs over the years kind of get undersold because, like you said before, everybody kind of thinks of you guys as, hey, we're just throwing the ball all over the yard. But Landon, guy like Billy Ross was there a long time for you, and
right.
Some of those guys. So.
No question. Kanan Brooks was another good running back that we had, really good back. I think Landon probably maybe was the last running back that we had rush for close over 1,000 yards. Yeah. And that says a lot about him.
For sure. Well, Coach, spinning it forward here, this week, big matchup with league leaders right now with Northwest coming down to you guys' place. Just talk to us a little bit about what you've seen from the Bearcats so far and what you're looking forward to in that matchup.
Yeah, their record speaks for itself, and I think they're playing their best football right now. Anytime you get a new coaching staff, and I know Coach Bostwick is still there running that defense, and he's always done I got a lot of great respect for him and the job that he's always done there. And of course, Coach Messenger there now. Sometimes it takes a while. It hadn't taken these guys that long, but just getting past that first game against Minnesota State and really how they've kind of found their niche. I know they're playing two quarterbacks and they both do things differently. One's more of a thrower, one's more of a runner, and they're both able to make plays. And then defensively, it's the same. Watching them on defense, it's like any other year. You got a puke bucket beside me and trying to figure out ways you're going to, move the football. But we know it's going to be a challenge, but we're looking forward to it. We are. Our players, I know, are going to be looking forward to it. And, we're coming off a big win. We got some confidence, and, we know that we have, they're leading the conference. You got the conference leader coming into town, and I'm sure they know they got a target on their back. And we realize what that target is, and we know we're going to have a great week of preparation. It's all about what we do during the course of the week. And, we got to put last week's game behind us and move forward. And we know now that with our quarterback he's MIAA Offensive Player of the Week, but we can't hide him in the bushes anymore. So everybody kind of knows. So, I mean, I imagine we may get some different things coming at him. Who knows? So just looking forward really to the challenge, and honestly just getting back home. I feel like we've been on the road. We flew to Angelo. We've had back-to-back road games twice. Man, hey, but it is nice for playing Northwest at home, because usually, John, as you know, I feel like we play at Northwest all the time.
I had to come down to him.
I tell Mike Racy that, man, did I really make you that mad throughout the years?
Somehow the Turnpike tussle got kind of turned on us, where Northwest goes to Washburn every year, but Emporia comes here every year. So right. I don't quite know how that works.
I know it. And then I think Washburn's come to our place 4 out of the last 6 or something.
They probably love that down there. So
right.
Well, Coach, I can't tell you how much we thank you for coming on with us tonight. And by the way, tell Braden Gleason, I know he's on your staff. He's your quarterback coach.
Yeah.
2023 coach, we named him to our Elite 100 team. Remind him that we had him on our All-American team. We valued him, my friend. I'll tell you that. But
he's a special player, man.
He sure and was.
He's helped get this freshman, ready to go. I'm sure you guys remember Braxton Marstall.
Yeah,
sure. He was another quarterback for me. Braxton was the last quarterback I started as a true freshman. So we had Braxton talk to JMO Friday night before the game, just kind of, maybe relax him a little bit. So I think that did some good too as well.
Not a bad council of quarterbacks you got.
Not a bad. You're exactly right, John. So proud of that group.
Coach, you went from your coach's show. You made time for us tonight. We can't thank you enough. And good luck the rest of the way. And once again, congratulations on your record-setting win as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, guys. Yeah, I got to get back to work here to try to figure out how to score points. And I appreciate you guys having me on. Look forward to you guys picking us this week. What do you think?
Huh? I gotta wait to see what he comes up with.
John, that's gonna be a tough one on you now.
I get yelled at all last year about my
pick. Us one time, right?
We'll see. You have to stay tuned, Coach.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, see you guys.
And I inadvertently cut off Coach at the last.
I was going to say he was making his walk off there. You let him have that.
No. Yeah. No. Everything. You know what? Could we find a nicer guest? I mean, honestly,
no. That whole athletic department there at Emporia is first class. We really appreciate what they do for the show, and then in my other capacity with the paper and doing all the MIAA preview stuff, all that. They're first class down there in Emporia.
And I wanted to make sure everybody realized we did have him on our All-American team.
Coach was looking off camera, and Don Weiss there must have neglected to mention that.
You know what? Don does have it on his bio page, so Don's got it.
Okay, so Don.
No worries.
Gotcha,
no worries.
Gotcha.
Just his fellow coaches didn't name him to theirs. That's all I'm saying. But let's continue on here, buddy. And a game that you're kind of familiar with. I'll let you talk about it a little bit, then we'll watch a little bit of video and go from there.
You mean every game doesn't get to be 52-3? Like,
apparently not.
We got to this is one of those, 14-0. Like Coach Higgins was just saying about the defense. Held Nebraska Kearney to 111 yards of total offense. It's going to be hard to win when you put that up. Both teams had troubles with turnovers. Northwest was mostly fumbles, whereas Kearney's was interceptions. But two best statistical defenses in the league went at it, and it was 14-0. It looked like it. So,
7-0 after 3 quarters. So I have it right?
Yeah. 97-yard touchdown drive late was kind of the anomaly of this game. But I think we'll hit the highlights here and look at it a little bit here.
Yeah, and we have the highlights that we have a little bit of fan noise in the background. We're going to go ahead and let that play for about a minute, and then John and I will come back and talk, so you won't hear from us for a moment. So, John, as you and I watched those highlights, a few questions. What happened at the end there for all our viewers?
Yeah, that's some of the guys in the comments like Reed will understand that one, but that was the Don Black Award, a longtime homecoming MVP award. It went to Niall Shewitt, which is really cool to see him get it. The media members at the game vote for it, and he got awarded it. He's currently limited to 30 snaps a game, and he was able to still make a big enough impact in those 30 snaps, because you will remember this at Mankato. He was down on the sideline with his pads off. His father came out of the stands.
Yeah, it didn't look awesome at the moment, right?
He has a heart condition, and it flared up at that point. And Coach Matt called him the heartbeat of the team, which seemed kind of fitting after the game because he's limited to 30 snaps with that condition, but really made the most of them. And senior defensive lineman won the Don Black Award, which is a big deal up here in Maryville. So kind of a cool moment after the game for Niall, who's been around for a long time. Something else from that highlights, though, those corners with the big picks. I think that is kind of evidence to the talent around D2. Those corners are transfers. Most of the defense all returned except for the corners, who are transfers from Lincoln University in Missouri and the University of Mary in up in North Dakota. Not exactly known as football factories, but those guys have come in and been terrific this year. And we don't always talk about them because that front seven's been so good, but man, they've gotten two outside corners there that have really stepped up and filled holes on that defense because they had some guys leaving the portal from the cornerback position. So
yeah,
just really good defensive game by the whole defense in this one.
Well, and they've improved quite a bit on that defense. I mean, earlier in the year when I saw them, Trayshawn Watson was kind of running pretty easy through them in the back half, and they've really gone ahead and tightened things up. And on the other side, Eric mentions here, Kearney's a physical football team. We've all year, I think, have given them a real solid by how we have talked about their physicality and their defense and the way they get after people. At the same time, Northwest put the ball in the deck a few times in this one, did they not?
Yeah. Z Owens, who's been terrific. We've talked about him every week. He had one where it was a wraparound, kind of a blind punched it out. He got hit as he threw one time and fumbled it. And then they just a good hit, knocked another one out. He had 3 fumbles in this game.
Is that what we're calling him now? Z Owens? Or is that where we're at?
Well, that's what he goes by as Z.
Okay.
So that's why I've been going with it in the verbal things. So anyway, Owens, we'll just go with that.
Well, no, that's the first time I had heard it.
Yeah, no, he prefers Z because I had to ask him the first time, is Zach a thing? Definitely not Zach. Zechariah, or when you're writing it, or Z when you're talking to him. So that's what I've been going with. But anyway, they like we said, he's been the starter starting last week. Started this game, obviously, had some turnovers. Chris Runkey's still been playing the original starter. So he's still been playing, and he came in this game, gave him a little bit of spark, led a 97-yard touchdown drive late. And I think that kind of says something for him too, because
Sure.
a lot of guys you get more or less benched for a redshirt freshman. Maybe you're not as feeling it the next time you get to have your number called there. But he led a big drive, had a little. It wasn't in that highlight, but a little flip Patrick Mahomes style pass that McMiniman said after the game he would not like him to do again, but it worked that time, so we'll go with it. He's got a little gunslinger to him, but they led a really nice drive there and got the cushion for the win. One of those games where it's like, okay, you're letting them hang around, but they're not. You never felt like Kearney was going to score in that game. So
Sure.
Being 7-0, you kind of felt like they were fine the whole time.
As much of a convincing win as 14-0 can be.
Exactly. So, they keep rolling and kind of survive a potential trap game there, which if they would have had Isaiah Harris, Kearney, this was kind of my circled trap game because I knew that defense was really good. But without him, they're just struggling to find anything offensively right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We were kind of concerned about that coming in. Next game up, we thought that the Riverhawks could kind of punch up here. We thought that this was a potential upset game. UCO has been playing better, has not been playing great. And at the same time, given all of the energy you saw with the Riverhawks kind of before the game on socials, after the game, to me, it kind of felt like this is one they really wanted. And, they came on in and they were kind of front running and winning this game and making Central play chase. And all of a sudden now this kind of, I think, eliminates Central Oak from the playoff race. What are your thoughts kind of unpacking this one?
I definitely agree with that. 4 losses, you're no longer a playoff contender at this point, and that's been kind of evidenced by a few people entering the transfer portal today. I haven't seen any huge names, but there have been a few that have gone in, and I may have not seen all of them. But Doug Williams says it in our chat there. Interceptions. Central Oak was moving the ball all day, and to only get 21 points in this game, turnovers killed them in this one. And Northeastern has improved enough that they're willing to take advantage of that. They have some athletes on that side, and impressive win for them. I don't know if there's other factors that kind of talk about maybe they should have stayed in the MIAA in the chat too. There's other factors that go into that, but big win for Northeastern regardless, and they celebrated like it was a big win. So good for the Riverhawks to have this one to hang their hat on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And let's be honest. I mean, the football they're playing now is different than the football they were playing when they were in the MIAA.
The athletes they have now are different than the athletes they had when they were in the MIAA.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And let's go ahead and move forward to. This is one that I felt I instantly regretted my pick, and the Griffins made me pay for it. What do you got here, buddy?
I knew it as soon as I saw our pick on that we'll show at the end of the show, and everybody picked Southern. It's like, oh, okay, everybody picked Southern. That's probably not going to work out. And it didn't. The Griffins, we've said all year, they got the talent. That defense is really good. It reminds me a little bit of what we were just saying with Nebraska Kearney. They're not quite to the level of Kearney. At either side of the ball, I would say Kearney's offense is better than Mo West, and I would say their defense is, but they can hold teams down and keep these games. And 19-12, this game was every bit that score. It was ugly, But Mo West
Bowling
found a
shoe
way.
ugly, as we call it up in my parts of the world.
Mo West found a way to get the win. Good rushing game. Best game of the season for Brandon Hall. We talked a lot about him over the years.
Yeah, because he really hasn't had the year we were thinking he was.
No, he hasn't. He's dealt with nagging injuries and stuff, but yeah, he had a big day in this one, and they're running the ball like both you and I kind of in the preseason said. Don't rely too much on that passing game. Run the ball, and it felt like they did in this game, partly due to the weather, but it helped them. It got their defense in better situations, and obviously they were able to put up just enough points to win. So big win for the Griffins. There was a key play in this game on a botched punt snap that went over people's heads. And I think the Lions were kind of celebrating it already while the ball was in the end zone. Very smart play by Gavin Bell to go and hit the ball out of the end zone for a safety before any of the Lions players jumped on it, which would have been a touchdown and would have maybe changed the outcome of this game. But those kind of hustle plays that it's nice to see from a team that's really been struggling this year.
Sure. Moving on, we had our last game, and
talk about ugly.
I was going to say this one was not a not something real pretty itself. Washburn up 10-0 at half, and Fort Hays comes back to win this one. What can you tell us here, buddy?
Yeah, good for Hays battling back. They're one after last week that we kind of questioned. I mean, how much do they have left in the tank for this season? And boy, passing the ball, Caleb Hebner did not have a very good day with 2 interceptions, only 95 yards. But him as a running threat really was huge for Hays in finding a way to get back into this thing. 117 yards and in that 1 touchdown rushing the ball. That was huge, obviously, to find a way to manufacture just enough score or points to survive this one, and survive they did. The kick in overtime, we'll talk more about him later, but big win for Hayes to at least still show some fight with the comeback here, and they're another one, 4 losses. Playoffs aren't happening this year, but it's nice that they didn't quite completely throw in the towel on this one.
Fair enough. Let's go ahead. I'll let you unpack a little bit of the athletes of the week.
Yeah, as we just mentioned, Coach Higgins just talked about JMO. See, that's another short name for you, JMO Sarver, playing quarterback and making a great debut for them. And double-figure tackles out there for Fort Hays, as we just said, in that Blanca with 10 tackles in that defensive battle, obviously shutting out Washburn in the second half and holding them to not very many yards, 101 yards passing, and then 127 on the ground for Washburn. So good defensive effort from Hays. And then speaking of defensive efforts, DB/kicker, you don't see that all the time. Their kicker got injured earlier in this game, and you bring in Michael Pauly to kick in overtime, and all he does is belt a game winner there and get you a much needed win for Hays. So good job by all these guys. Congrats on your athletes of the week, even though Michael Pauly didn't think he'd be in that column necessarily this year, but you get there.
Well, guys, that's kind of the week that was, and we now take a look at the standings in the conference. Northwest Missouri still undefeated, 6-0 up at the top, and right now, John, with all of the kind of the teams beating up on each other here, you've got Pitt, who's still in the mix for the national playoffs.
Oh,
and then the next team down has 4 losses right after that. We've got 3 of them with Central Oak Fort Hays and Emporia. And all of a sudden, we go down to a spot, John, where the MIAA is a little bit on life support for how many spots they're going to get here. Northwest seems to be in a real good spot, but Pitt's not in a great spot themselves. They're in a good enough spot, but what happens if they lose to Northwest? And that's kind of what I see here. What are some of the things you see?
Well, I'd be curious to get your perspective on that after, but I wrote a column yesterday because I knew regional rankings would be coming out today, and kind of breaking down who are the teams to watch in all these conferences in our region. And I had categories for it. I had safely in today, I had on the bubble, and I had need some help. And Northwest and Pitt were both safely in as of today, in my list. And then both the other two categories were empty because I don't think anybody else has a chance at this point. I don't think
Agreed.
4 losses can get you into the playoffs. So, and
I can't remember last time a team had 4 losses and got in the playoffs.
So yeah, and it's not happening in this region this year. So that's something to keep in mind. But with that being said, this 3 losses get you in the playoffs. I've been reading a lot of social media kind of questioning if Pitt loses to Northwest, even if they win these next 2, do they get in? And people have been kind of thinking not. I think with their strength of schedule, I think even if they win 2 and then lose to Northwest, I think Pitt would be in. I'm kind of curious what you think on that.
I haven't, I've not spent much time doing the regional ranking stuff just because it's the alphabetical deal right now and it's not serious enough. Pitt State's got a strength of schedule of 551, which is a high mark. This is without the Northwest game on there because it's only a year to date. Pitt is also 3-1 against teams that are 500 or better. That's a great mark. One of the best in the super region. So you start adding these type of things up, and Pitt is a very good 2-loss team. I'll put it that way. So there is a chance that a 3-loss Pitt, if they were to drop a game to Northwest Missouri, you may see them, be on a similar line where who looks better in the beauty contest? A Southern Arkansas that has 2 losses and exactly a 500 strength of schedule, where maybe they're 500 against teams 500 or better. And Pitt will have had a strength of schedule maybe 50 points higher or more with some maybe, another win or 2 that's impressive. So the thing is that Pitt's, Pitt's win over Grand Valley isn't aging well.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
That is true. But if you look at how these other conferences are doing, I don't know if we're going to have – I think a 3-loss team might just get in. I don't know if we're going to have enough 1- and 2-loss teams because if Shadron loses to both Western Colorado and Pueblo, like most people think they will, that's a 3-loss team. So only 2 teams above 3 losses in the RMAC. And then the Lone Star is a mess, but they are beating each other up where I don't know how many teams with fewer than 3 losses will be in the Lone Star. So I just think you might not even have to argue them over Central or Southern Arkansas to get in. So I kind of think the Pitt worry about the playoffs if they lose to Northwest is a little overblown, but maybe I could be proven wrong.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about this after you and I pick our games for this week.
James is skipping a step and saying a 4-loss Pitt State there in the comments. So
yeah,
if they have 4, I might not co-sign on that statement. But
I think we would, even if Pitt had 4 losses, I think we would take them over a lot of teams. But it's a matter of how good do you look in terms of the criteria for selection. That's really what it's
the same conversation we're having with Grand Valley in Super Region 3 right now, where people might think you're a better team, but at some point your record matters.
Yes, and who have you beaten? Not who have you had almost games with. So let's move to our first game here.
Ooh.
The who's got more left in the tank. I already had this in the slides before you decided to talk about that earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel great about either football team coming into this one. If you had to throw money on it, I think I'm taking, UCO here.
Oh, you're picking first. Man, that's different for you.
I can do this.
Ferg, it's going to be in the comments amazed. I'm
Ferg doesn't
also
need to be in the comments.
I'm also taking UCO. I think Jet Huff's going to score enough touchdowns that Kearney can't keep up. If the score gets over about 14-17, I don't think Kearney is going to be able to match that, and I think UCO can get enough to get this win. But I mean, the way Kearney's defense played last week, who knows? But give me UCO.
Fair enough. Moving to the next one. Is Hayes still a top half MIAA team?
I mean, that middle of it is a mess. Yeah.
We could have used the same caption for 2 straight games, by the way.
I was going to say there's a bunch of 4-loss teams in that middle that I think when they're playing their best, they are. 2 weeks ago, they weren't against Northwest. You could argue last week they weren't squeaking one out against Washburn there. But I think they find a way to win this game. This is the game this week I'm least confident in because I don't know who still wants to be here. But I think give me Hayes narrowly in this one. And I'm not going to be surprised if it goes the other way.
I feel like the Hayes defense is a little better. And
I definitely think that, yes.
I like Hayes better at quarterback, if I'm going to be honest, in terms of ball security, being able to go ahead and be better in the +1 run game and the way they do it. And I feel like Coach Chris Brown can go ahead and continue to motivate his team in moments like this. I'm going to give him some kudos here. I'm taking Hayes.
I've been a big Caleb Heavner supporter this year. He is last in the MIAA in passing efficiency right now. It's disappointing going into the year from where I thought he would be. So I'm not so sure on that quarterback question. I get with what you mean. Omalo turns the ball over a lot, but of course, AC picked Hayes. But yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, that offense scares me.
Yeah, I mean, neither team is flying high right now, but
No.
interesting game nonetheless. Northwest stay hot. Here's my thing. True freshman quarterback against the way that Northwest defense is getting after people. And I think the Northwest offense has played very good with the exception of the one game that they had this last week. I think they're going to be playing ready to, kind of flush that last one. I like Northwest by a few scores.
Yeah, Northwest has always had success against Emporia for the most part. Emporia got a big win. I think it was last year over Northwest in Bearcat. But the defense is playing really well right now. I think Mr. Owens we'll switch it to Mr. Owens just to keep Witt happy. Has a bounce back game in this one. I think he gets his running lanes open again, and I think Northwest wins this one. But this is definitely, ever since Harris got hurt and Kearney became a little less scary, this has been the one I've had circled as a trap game for Northwest if they start looking ahead to Pitt. So
I felt like they had that this last week. This will be I think they got a lucky wake up there.
I think that might be the case. I think it might end up benefiting them that they had that. So I trust Coach Higgins to have a good game plan, but I think Northwest just too strong in the trenches in this one and gets this win. I'm
going to take the home team in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Kame. Oh, we stuck with the same graphic I see, but the Gorillas, yeah, they're rolling. They
Oh, you
know
know
their
what? Yeah,
backs.
I missed that part.
I started
Di-
to read it
Yeah,
to make a
disregard the top part. Yeah,
reference to it. I learned
I
now not
couldn't
to
think of
read out loud.
a pithy comment other than I'll take the home team.
I like the Rumble in the Jungle by Eric. We'll switch to that instead.
Yes.
But the Pitt knows their backs are against the wall right now. If I'm reading on social media that they need to win every game from here on out to make the playoffs, they're seeing that too. So they're not going to mess around. Little rivalry, border war here with Southern and the Gorillas get it done and get the win in this.
And we're moving on. So the Washburn game here with the Griffins.
So there's no Southern involved. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So in an effort to kind of get us towards more what everybody's wanting us to talk about, I've got the Griffins here. How about you?
Jutter makes a good point in that he'd like us to talk more about the headlines, but
Yeah.
I'm going with the Griffins. Makes me nervous because they just got that big win. The way they've been kind of snake bitten this year, can they get 2 in a row? But they showed me something like with that. I think their defense is the best unit in this game on either side of the ball, and I think they hold Washburn down and get a win here.
I still say that Western's better than their record, but I say that about Minot up in the Northern Sun as well. So let's
they are better than it in terms of talent. It's just got to put it all together.
Yes. So as we're taking a look here, buddy, I went 2 and 3 a week ago. So did you. How did we go 2 and 3?
Well, that would be because we all picked UCO to beat Northeastern. Bad. We all picked Southern to beat Western.
That's right.
Bad. So now we are looking at 2 games, and then Emporia. If Garin and Don are still listening, you got us because we both picked UCM in that game, and that did not go our way. So let's see what we can screw up this week, shall we? As you can see, everybody's on Northwest. So Emporia, if they're still watching, that can go right up on the bulletin board. And then everybody's on UCO. That kind of surprised me. I thought we might have some Carney believers with how they hung with Northwest this week, but everybody was on UCO. And then Hayes has a majority, but is pretty well split there. And then we got a couple people picking Washburn. So a couple variety there in the middle, but a lot of consensus this week.
Well, buddy, top 25 came on out yesterday. I've had a chance to offer my thoughts on other shows with this. I'm going to let you go ahead, offer whatever thoughts, comments, or otherwise you have in regards to the list.
Well, Western Oregon not being on there hurts me. They were number 23 on mine. I know you gave me a little crap about that on the Sunday show, but
yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the 25 who made it, not the
yes,
not the 150 who didn't.
I just thought I'd bring that up. I don't know what West Owl does not have a better win than over UTPB, so there's a thought. But no,
they also didn't lose to West Texas by 4 touchdowns. But.
No, they did not. But anyway, for the MIAA, obviously you see Pitt check in at number 6, again, right where I have them as well. And then Northwest is checked in at number 11. I had them at number 9 this week, but not over the people directly in front of them. I have them over Duluth. I also have them over Pueblo because Pueblo has been playing with fire in the games that have mattered, and they haven't had that many games that have mattered. So I'm a little lower in Pueblo than the rest of the list. I'm sure that'll make AC happy. The rest of it, I think you're pretty consensus with where you are. I'm a little higher on Delta. I think they've been playing really good football right now. But yeah, the rest of the list checks out about right. Newcomer in there with Albany State, huge win for them this week. I know they don't always get a lot of love nationally because not as many people are tuned into what's happening down there. But big win for them. And then Northwood checking in is kind of fun too, considering where they've been the last few years. So yeah, unlike Tom, I can name all these teams based on their logo. So I've got that going for me too. If he watched, he'd get so much trash talk out of this. But
Yeah, I don't think he would care actually. But
okay, fair enough. Hey, Judder, I got your back on Western Oregon.
Yeah.
Attention for me.
And I think Western Oregon is kind of in that probably 26 to 30 if we were to take a look at our votes. You know, I think that
I get why they're not in there. At this point, I'd really look at what's your ceiling and quality wins. And there's probably not anybody off that page that has a better quality win than what Western Oregon has now. But I understand why it takes some time, especially with, like you said, that bad results they had, especially early.
Yeah. So here is the alphabetical top 10 in the super region. And I didn't really think there was much in the way of surprises here.
These are the teams I expected to see.
Yeah, so you have 2 from the MIAA. Then what do we have from the Lone Star? We got Central Washington. We've got UTPB. We've got
Permian Basin.
Permian.
Oh yeah, you just said that. Sorry,
Western Colorado, and we've got Western Oregon. So 4 teams from the Lone Star, right?
3.
Oh no, 3. Yeah, Western Colorado. Yeah, my bad. They are with the RMAC, and then the RMAC also has Pueblo
3
in the mix.
Yep.
And they have Chadron as well. And then you got Harding, and you've got Southern Arc from the GAC. Now, if we were to peel the onion a little bit further and really see what does this look like 1 through 8, our guy Inkblot, friend of the show, put this out earlier, and bottom right, and he did this before they did any of their stuff publicly. So,
well, his 8 line up. So
now, if we were to take a look, I think the 8 line is probably where you're going to see the most kind of back and forth, because you've got Southern Arkansas, you got Pueblo, you've got a few of those right in that mix right there, where you're saying, okay, they're all super close. What are we valuing? You know, are we looking more at strength of schedule? Are we looking more at the KPI and things of that sort? So, you know, and I know Judder has up here about Delta State. Judder, unfortunately, this is the we're going to be talking about the MIAA on this show, and that super region. So we really haven't taken a look at Delta over there in SR2.
Delta's got its chances later on with a big one against West Florida coming up. So Delta will get in the mix if they are able to get in the mix.
Yeah. So, you know, that all said, not any big surprises here. Northwest Missouri State, you could make a case that they could be on the 3 line right here and now, because the fact they're over 100 points higher in SOS.
Yeah, I would make that case.
And KPI is higher. Now, that all said, every team's, we talked about this before, every team's resume resets for the next week. So keep in mind, guys, these are not standings. Don't fall in love with what you see on the page right now. And Western Colorado has Pueblo this week. So if they win their game, they're about where they should be anyway. So
that's my argument on it.
Yeah, but I mean, this should be done each week independently, not kicking the can down the road and saying, well, in the future, you know, it's what is your resume right here and now. And you know, that said, as we take and kind of move down the page a little bit further, you know, the UTPB is an interesting one. I'm going to tell you why. If you know, you had before, for example, like when we were looking at UCO earlier, and you had Pitt State, for example. If UCO had only been at, had stayed up in this mix,
Yeah.
and Pitt State dropped a game, let's say got a third loss, and let's say, UTPB was in that mix. UTPB had beaten UCO head to head, who then beat Pitt State, and it would be a bad thing for Pitt. I think the fact that UCO lost, it gives Pitt a little more breathing room where they don't have that thing kind of attacking them. You know what I mean? Like that tiebreaker-ish scenario in that mix. So that's important to Pitt. I still think that Pitt, even if they got a third loss, I still think that there's a real chance that they make that top 8 job.
Yep, that's what I was getting to earlier. I think they're pretty safe, barring a bad loss. These next 2 weeks, them and Northwest kind of have the same thing. As long as you don't lose one these next 2 weeks, and you can go into that game against each other, then the winner of that game gets to host the game, and the loser goes on the road first week. I think that's going to be how it plays out. I find it interesting when I posted this, because there's not much info on when I posted the regional rankings. I put the KPI with them just to have some little idea of what's going on. So compared to Inkblot's stuff here, Harding is number 1. They are number 1 nationally in KPI. And then Central Wash is 2. So far we line up. Then Northwest is 3, with Western Colorado check in at 4. So those two are flipped. And then Pittsburgh State is 5, as they are here. UTPB is 6. Southern Arkansas moves up a spot into 7. And then you have Colorado State, Pueblo, and Chadron right next to each other in KPI at number 39 and number 40, because neither of them have played a great strength of schedule. And then Western Oregon rounds out the list at number 10. So a little bit different than what Inkblot has here, and we will see how much they value KPI when we get into the real rankings starting next week.
Right, and there's going to be 2 essentially big measures, which is kind of like your win percentage plus your strength of schedule. That's kind of one combined metric, and then another one is your KPI. And the KPI is one that was really used a lot last year. And I really feel that that's one that you can, if you go ahead and you were to take a look at any of Inkblot's stuff, he's got a separate area under regional ranking 1. You don't look at current, you look at regional ranking 1 on Inkblot's site. And he will have their KPI ranking. And it's very telling because a lot of times you go right down the line and see just how much that's being utilized, John.
Yeah.
And we saw it quite a bit last year. And that KPI is something to really keep your eye on. So if you were going to look at nothing else and you wanted to try and make this as simple as possible, that KPI is something to really kind of look at and dig on. And for what it's worth, Northwest is 3 in that.
Yeah.
So
in the top 10 in KPI in the region are the ones who made the list here. So it hangs with that. But I think any of us could have made that list of 10 and would have come up with the same 10 teams in this.
You're exactly right.
I don't think we learned too much.
Right. Yep. And keep in mind when we look further into this, if you have head-to-head results where, teams are going to go ahead and, maybe you have something close to a common opponent or a head-to-head. If things aren't exactly how you think they're supposed to be, that's coming into play in all likelihood. So, we've got Eric had a question here. Let's see. Somehow KPI think a neutral
haven't dug
win.
that far into it, so I can't tell you.
A neutral win. I'm not sure if I know what do we mean by that?
They didn't play at a neutral site, did they?
I'm not real sure what we're saying there. So okay. But no, KPI, if you haven't seen it before, take a hard look at it. It's pretty interesting. And you get, like, for example, Minnesota State, like with Northwest, they're getting huge credit because that win continues to appreciate for them.
That's probably keeping them in this top 8 for Ink Block right now. I don't know who's knocking on the door over there, but yeah, that's gonna really help them. And when we look at this at the end of the year.
Well, John, finishing out our show, we got some video from KQ2 once again, and our guy Brett, and Brett is
Brett Kennedy. He's
there.
In the
we go.
Come on, Witt.
Well, you know what? I got to remember call letters. I got different shows I'm on. Come on,
he's
now.
last in the pick'em, so you might be overlooking him. So I don't think Brett watches either. So I think I'm safe on that.
Well, okay then, fair enough. But, and we want to thank Emporia for them going ahead and getting. We had some video that we used of theirs, and for getting Coach on with us. That was great stuff. So. Buddy, what else do you have as you and I kind of wrap things up tonight?
Not a whole lot. We another good week in the MIAA. Like I said in our pick'em, there's several toss-up games out there. So so enjoy the week, and even if your team's no longer in playoff contention, keep on rooting them on and root for some of those young guys to play, so we can see some hope for the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and we'll see what happens in the action, come this weekend. And John and I will be back to talk about it next week. We kind of figure it out as we go based on what John's got cooking with his schedule with covering high school sports and such. So we will be back next week, Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thanks once again for tuning on in to MIAA Weekly. Have yourself a great night.